All right, kindergarten, it is time to put your lunch boxes on the shelf and come and join me. Let's go over a few rules about when we're sitting in our listening circle. How do we want to be sitting? That's right. We want to sit crisscross applesauce with our hands in our baskets. Make sure you have your listening ears on.
Okay, early on in the lesson here, there's something I noticed I just wanted to make a point of. I think the crisscross applesauce, hands in the lap, listening ears on was fantastically done. I think that's a really good way to get students' minds engaged in the lesson, make sure they're attentive and focused on the learning objective. However, before we provided that instruction, in a much bigger classroom, I think students would still be chattering, maybe wandering eyes around the classroom. So I maybe would have did an attention grabber before giving that an instruction. Something like give me 5 or some other variation of that where students direct their attention to the teacher, then review crisscross applesauce, hands in the lap, listening ears on, so students are prepared and ready for the lesson.
Today, we are going to learn something new. Can anyone take a look at this and put your hand up if you think you know what we might be learning? Cole, what do you think we'll learn today?
Tying shoes.
Tying your shoes, that's right. Today we are going to learn how to tie our shoes.
One of the many strategies that you'll see throughout this lesson is the I do, we do, you do strategy. This approach begins with the teacher modeling the skill, then practicing the steps together with the learner, and finally allowing the student to try independently. Therefore, I do, we do, you do. This strategy is developmentally appropriate, supports confidence, and ensures students feel guided before being expected to perform the act of tying shoes on their own.
There's different ways to learn how to tie our shoes. Today we're going to learn the bunny ear loop. Has anyone ever heard of that before? No? Does anyone know how to tie their shoes using the bunny ear method? No. That's okay. We are going to have so much fun today. So to start, I have this video for you. Can I have everyone turn so you can see our screen?
There are lots of ways to tie your laces. We're going to show you bunny rabbit faces. Take the laces, one in each hand. It's easier if you sit rather than stand. Make the shape of an X by crossing each lace. Pass one and through the hole at the base. Now pull tight with all your might.
Hi, Miss Voss here, offering you some teacher feedback. In this part of the video, the student begins practicing tying their shoes while the video is still playing. But this is without any teacher guidance. This demonstrates that the student is very engaged in the video and proves that it is a good teaching method. However, while the video provides demonstration, the lack of adult support means that the student may miss key steps or develop incorrect habits along the way. This highlights the importance of pausing the video for students and going over key pieces along the way instead of just allowing them to watch the video all throughout. While I think that Jen chose a very engaging material for this lesson, I think that using guided, intentional practice is beneficial to students at this stage.
You can't carry on until this bit's right. The next bit is fiddly, but don't you fear. Loop each end like a bunny rabbit's ear. Cross these loops, it's fun to do. And pull one through the hole by your shoe. Pull the loops, 1 and 2, then pull to make a bow. Just like we do. Practice makes perfect, just follow this song. You'll be tying your laces before too long.
So making your bunny ears, cross them over and pull it through. So how did you guys like that video? Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and if you learned something new. Wonderful. So We are going to practice tying our shoes. Why doesn't everyone take off one of your shoes and get your laces out right in front of you? And let's set our shoe in front of us. It's easier to learn when it's not on your foot. So I'm gonna have everyone stay crisscross with your shoe in front of you. Cool, stop.
Go.
So when you have your shoe in front of you, I want you to pick up one lace in each hand. We're going to cross them over. You reach your hand through and pull one. And pull it tight. Next, we're gonna make our bunny ears. We're gonna make one bunny ear, two bunny ears, and just like when we first started, we're gonna cross our bunny ears over, reach through, and pull it tight. Just like that, we're gonna tie our shoes. I know that this is a lot to remember and it's a new skill. So what I have some pictures that are going to help us.
All right. I think that video was amazing for this lesson. There was lots going on. I think there was really good job at keeping students' attention dialed in. It was very fast paced, so to absorb the information, you had to make sure you were paying attention. As we kind of watch that video though, if you pay attention to the student in this example while the video is playing, you kind of see they're trying to follow along tying their shoe while the video is playing. As a teacher, I maybe would have just reminded my students to focus on the video and not worry about trying to tie your shoes while the video is playing. That way they can absorb all the information the video is giving them. And then when it's time to practice, they can apply what they saw in the video, remembering what they saw, to actually tying their own shoes. Otherwise, they're distracted, they're not paying attention, they're more focused on their shoes in the video, and they're not absorbing the same amount of information they would if they just got that gentle reminder to focus on the video before tying their shoes.
We're gonna look at our pictures right now, and then I'm going to hang them up. So every time you come in from recess and you wanna tie your shoes, you can come and look right at our pictures on the wall, okay?
Here we just saw Jen use affective reassurance. This was used to help support her learner's emotions and ease him into the idea that learning a new skill is challenging and that learning to tie your shoes is a difficult thing when you're first starting out. By reducing his stress and building a positive learning climate where mistakes are okay and challenges are to be expected, she does a really good job of assuring him and leading into the next part of the lesson.
Okay, get your shoe in front of you and get your two laces ready. Okay, cross your laces over so they're in an X. Great. Now you're gonna tuck one under. Oh, look at right here. You're gonna tuck it underneath. There, now pull it tight. That's right, that's nice and tight. Okay, now you're gonna make your two bunny ears. That's great, look at that. Yours looks just like this. Now we're gonna cross them over, tuck one under, and pull it tight. That's okay, let's try one more time here, Cole. So you had your two.
Here we see Jen introducing pictures that will hang on the wall as an anchor chart or visual scaffold. These visuals can act like a guide that Colt can refer back to whenever he needs help. These visual resources being present within the classroom are helpful to students and can help them become more independent and remember steps more easily. By being able to access these things on their own as they're attempting these skills, it can help build independence and foster a sense of accomplishment.
Bunny ears. We're going to cross them over, pull it through. You've tied your shoe.
Alright, here we see Miss Jen tie Colt's shoe for him. I think that this could go two ways really, and there are two sides to it. Firstly, it helps get the task done quickly, which is a positive, but on the negative side of that, it limits the student's opportunity to learn the task. As we see along the way, Miss Jen does provide extensive guiding for the student, and I can assume that some frustration may have ended up on her behalf. So she chose to tie the shoe for him and say, "You tied your shoe." But like I said, this can limit the student's learning. On the other hand though, for some students, this might even be something that motivates them more. Personally, I know that if somebody was to complete a task for me, I would want to one-up them and do it myself. So this can result in being a great motivator for some students, but I do not think that's the case for all. While it is efficient, it does limit the learning.
Great practicing, everyone. So what we are going to do now is we are going to split up into some centers to practice. So I'm going to hang these up here. If you forget how to tie your shoe, come and use the pictures. They're going to be right here for you.
Okay, I'm going to jump in one more time here. This lesson has been fantastic. I'm super happy with what I'm seeing. Personally, one thing I would have changed is the order the information was presented in. The first thing they threw at the children was a very fast-paced YouTube video, and I feel like it's hard for the children to retain all that information. If I was presenting this lesson, I think those cue cards or pieces of paper with step-by-step processes was fantastic for the children to really grasp the idea. I maybe would have opened up with that idea though and started with presenting those pieces of paper in the step-by-step process so that the kids had an idea of what was going on and a very simple foundation of what the shoe tying process looks like. So when they went to the video, they kind of had an understanding of what was happening in the video. They can compare it to the pictures they saw, and then they're like, I remember that, put the pieces together. Then they can reinforce these ideas by going back to those posters one more time, following the step-by-step process. The last thing I would have changed here was when the child was struggling to tie the shoe, the teacher kind of took over and did it for them, showing them how to do it. The thing I would have did different here was maybe did it along with the student. So I take off my own shoe while the child takes off their shoe and step by step with them tied the shoe. That way they can watch me do it and then apply it to their own shoe. And we can work through this step by step so that way they're figuring it out on their own while being able to follow somebody do it at the same time. Otherwise, I think this was a fantastic lesson. I think the children did a really good job grasping the idea, and all in all, very well done.
At center number 1, we are going to practice getting our fingers nice and strong so they're ready to tie shoes. So at center number 1, I have some shoelaces. We're going to bead them through the beads and pull the beads tight. Okay, this is going to make our fingers nice and strong so it's easy to tie our shoes. At center number 2, you're going to come and join me at the carpet. We're going to use our pictures and we are going to practice tying your shoes. How does that sound? And at center number 3, we are going to be coloring a picture of a shoe. Once you've mastered tying your shoes, we can hang these pictures up to remind us every day.
In this part of the video, we noticed that the teacher is motivating students by promising a fun task at the end. Because this is a really hard concept to learn at first, speaking from experience, promising a fun task at the end helps students enjoy the process of learning more. Because not only are they looking forward to the end, they're learning whether or not they like it along the way subconsciously. By keeping students excited about what's coming next, the teacher maintains engagement throughout the lesson without students realizing that they are being guided to learning and to stay focused. This subtle motivation helps sustain attention and participation that supports smoother learning along the way.
Does anyone have any questions? Great. The blue group, you can go to center number 1. You're going to go to the shoelaces. The red group, you're going to go to the table. You're going to do the coloring sheets. And the green group, you're going to stay here with me.